Sutton might not have much common sense, but at least he's glad that Rangers and Celtic are showing some after both clubs agree to increase the away fan allocation for next year. But Sutton is demanding another step, and he wants to see the full amount return at Old Firm games. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. The news came out today that the 5% away fans would be back in action. So we're going to get 2,500 visiting supporters back into Ibrox and Celtic Park from next season. But Chris Sutton wants more. He wants it to pretty much go back to the way it was and have full away allocations, like back in the day when they were pretty much given a full stand.
Likely Celtic get a bit more due to 60,000, so if you do the math, 10% and divide that by 2, you're sitting with what? 3,000 fans. So obviously Rangers get the benefit of this, but Celtic fans, they wanted the full stand. When Rangers said they couldn't have the full stand, they were greeting, but when the SPFL said they can have half the stand, they accept that. So what's that all about? I'll say half the stand, it's what, 2,500, the European allocation. It's a decent number. Alright, it's much better than none.
It's better than none, or it's better than 700.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I personally, the full stand, I think is probably a million years away.
I don't think that's going to happen, especially at Ibrox, because Rangers have sold a lot more season tickets now. Therefore, for them to give Celtic a full stand, they're going to have to say to thousands of Rangers season ticket holders, here, see those Old Firm games? You're not coming in to watch them.
Yep.
And that's going to leave you with a disgruntled fan base. So it's an awkward situation. I think as soon as Rangers committed to selling more season ticket holders or season tickets, then they were always going to have this problem. This situation was always going to arise if they ever tried to go back to the previous away allocation. So, I mean, it's one of those things. I guess they could give the Rangers fans that currently hold the season tickets that would be in the seats of, let's say, the away fans. I mean, they could offer them a discounted rate and give them a season ticket that's not including the Old Firms.
Well, you can't get that season ticket already, so, I mean, that's probably another factor you've got to put into it.
Yeah, but then they could just give it to those people. I mean, they could move the people around. So the people that currently have that season ticket, they could switch them seats to the stand where the Celtic away fans would be in.
It's a messy situation, right? But I think what people need to realise, just be grateful that everyone's getting 5%.
But here's why it's fucked up, because yes, it'd be good in Old Firm games if Rangers give Celtic a full stand, right? But there's other teams that will come to Ibrox and they'll not sell out anywhere near a full stand.
Yep.
So therefore Rangers have got all these like free seats. So I mean, it does kind of make sense for Rangers to try and capitalise and get season tickets on these seats, because there's no good keeping a free stand available for every game when only maybe like 2 or 3 teams in the league are going to sell it. Like, Celtic obviously would, and I think you can make a case that Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs maybe would, although Hibs seem to only show up when they're playing well. Maybe same for Aberdeen, some of their tendencies have been poor. But it's like, you can't just have a free stand available for every game. What, so Rangers can't sell any season tickets in this stand because Livy are going to come 3 times a season or whatever, twice a seaon.
Yeah.
And you know Livy's not going to sell it a full stand.
No.
So I understand why Rangers done it.
Can't sell it a seat.
Ideally, if every team could sell it a stand, then there would be no issue.
Yep.
But we just know that in away games, what's the likelihood of Livingston bringing like 7,500 fans to Ibrox?
No chance.
So, you've got that difficult situation. Anyway, Chris Sutton gave his thoughts on it. He made an article on the Daily Record and he says, quote, "Common sense has finally broken out over Old Firm tickets. I just hope this is the start on the road back to return to full away allocations. Getting around 2,500 visiting supporters into Ibrox and Celtic Park is a step in the right direction. It's also long overdue. The decision to cut the away attendances was petty in the first place, and no one can tell me it didn't diminish the fixture. The reduced amount of 700 was a waste of time, and there's no doubt it made a nightmare for those fans penned into tiny corners of the stadium. The total shutout was even worse. The Glasgow Derby is one of the biggest in the world, and a lot of that is down to the atmosphere created in the grounds. The noise and passion is what makes it, and there has been something lacking with the away supporters locked out. It took away from the spectacle for the neutrals as well. Scottish football was trying to sell itself as a global product, but the armchair fans were being left shortchanged by getting watered down versions of the derby. As far as the players on the pitch are concerned, it shouldn't really matter if there are 70, 7,000 or 70,000 of your supporters in the ground. The stakes are always the same. There's never any excuses, but it's beyond that. It's about the occasion and the experience for those watching in the UK and around the world. At last, they have seen a bit of sense, and at around 2,500 is certainly better than nothing. It's too late for this season, but we'll have no away supporters for the remaining two encounters. The only hope is the clubs see the difference next season and it persuades them to bring back the proper allocation and restore the fixture to its former glory. End of quote. Apologies there for reading that out. It is 3 AM. Might have mixed a word up there too. But anyway.
Sounded alright to me.
Sounded alright to me. So Chris Sutton, he's happy that they're getting an increased allocation with away fans, but he does eventually want them to get back to the full away allocation, which I think would be ideal. And I think the best way around it is to keep the current season tickets that they have, but agree to the whole, season tickets that don't have the Old Firm games and just switch them seats into the away stand. I think that's the best way you do it.
Yeah, but I don't like the talk, though, that it's diminished the fixture. Personally, it hasn't from my point of view. Now, I think, obviously, atmosphere-wise...
Well, I think it has, because people have always been saying how, look at the Edinburgh Derby in recent years compared to the Old Firm Derby. And that the atmosphere, the occasion's just a lot... Not bigger, obviously, but...
No, but...
It's a better spectacle to watch.
No, I'm just talking about, in general, the importance of the fixture.
No, yeah,
obviously, on the day, yes, the atmosphere when you've got more away fans when they score a goal. I talked about it earlier.
How weird is it?
How weird is it when the other team score?
And
it's dead.
Nothing, silence.
It's like when Tav scored 2 belter of free kicks at Parkhead in the last 2 Parkhead games.
Nothing.
Crickets. Yeah, a pin drop. It's weird. No, but there's English fans saying that the Old Firm, it shows how shit of a rivalry it is because there is no fans allowed in. But I think it's the opposite. I think the fact that there is a rivalry there, it just shows you why they can't have the fans in. Even though I said earlier, it's not like there's no fans because they start to batter on each other. It's because Rangers were petty and because they were getting scudded every game. That's the fact, that's what happened. I'm man enough to admit that. But the reality is, I think the 2,500 is a good compromise, and I think it'll stay at this for a while. And personally, why not just keep it at this? I think it's going to be very hard to bring the stand business back.
Maybe gradually increase it bit by bit.
Sutton can say...
Maybe one day we can get back to what they had.
Sutton can say, what about they hear it next season? Yeah, but you've got to bear in mind, what happens next season if Rangers win all 4 Old Firm games? Celtic aren't going to turn around and go, oh, well, that was brilliant, that. Hearing Rangers fans celebrate at Parkhead, and vice versa.
Back to 0.
That logic only works for Sutton.
For the team that's
winning away.
Well. The team that's been successful in the fixtures.
Yeah.
So
I bet you Hibs aren't marking it when Hearts come up the Easter Road and scud them, and the away stand's going ballistic. Oh, but the atmosphere. No, they're not really.
But you never know. Every week it seems like there's a club coming out and talking about reducing away fans' tickets and allocations and stuff like that. So
yeah. Take
it with a grain of salt.
I actually think the club shouldn't have a say in it. I think it should be the governing body, which is kind of what has happened here. The SPFL have said minimum 5%, but I don't think Rangers should have been ever able to personally remove it themselves. I don't think Celtic should have had the ability to move it down to completely 0. But here, that's what happens when you've got 2 big clubs and
that control the league.
A fish fucking, what do you call them things? A tank?
Fish
a bowl.
Tank, a bowl. Big fish. Sharks in a fish tank.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Aye, so there you go, guys. That's it. We'll catch you in the next one. Chris Sutton wants to see the full return. I think it'll be a while before we get that. But this is a step in the right direction. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. It does suck, though, for the next 2 games. 2 big Old Firm games that could decide the title. And we're going to have nothing, so.
Nada.
And it will be really fucking weird if, let's say, at the Celtic one, for example, since that's the last one, the one at Celtic Park, it's going to be weird that if Rangers get a positive result that pretty much wraps up the league there. It's just going to be a weird atmosphere. It's going to be like a morgue.
It's going to be like a morgue,
So, yeah.
and I'll be all for it though.
We'll see what happens. That's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.